Hello, hello. I'm hoping that everybody can hear me tonight. Last night was a bit of a crash and burn, so I'm really happy that that some of you have chosen to join me again. Please reach out to let me know that the sound is okay. If there's anything I need to do to adjust it, that would be that's okay. I can do that. Apparently, I know how to do that after an hour and a half on the help desk last night, but that's okay. We're good now. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Hoping that you are looking forward to learning something a little bit more about numerology and something that some of my students I saw kind of popped in last night for my my crash and burn event. But I know some of you have learned what it is I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, but you can always review it, right? It's always going to be something interesting to learn. So we're going to be talking about life path numbers, and there's different ideas on how to do the calculations around life path numbers. And I used to be damned and determined that my way was the highway and that was the only way, right? But I've softened my approach to that somewhat since I've done some more studying. And so I'll be showing you a few different things tonight, but more importantly, regardless of how you do the calculations, I feel that it's important to know how to interpret them, right? It's not enough to say your life path number 7 or your life path number 8 or 5 or 4 or whatever. What kind of life path number are you? Hey, BBs. Hey, Chris. So what kind of life path number are you? That's what we got to know. We've got to know what are the sub-lessons related to that? So, for example, you might be a 25-7. Okay, you could be a 34-7. Those are different sevens, right? So the numbers to the left of the slash, those numbers that we add up as a double digit before we reduce them to a single digit, those mean something, right? So every life path number is a code, whether it's just a single digit once you add it up, that's fine. But if it's a double digit, there's some really good, interesting information there that you need to know about. So I'm teaching it in a way that many people don't teach it. So it's kind of unique, and I hope that you're going to enjoy this. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes to let people into the room. I see we're starting to gain some momentum here. But maybe you guys can let me know where you're from. Where are you coming out from? Let's see where everybody's from. Get a few people commenting in there. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Yeah, so we're gonna get going here in a second. California, yay! Avocadoville. Hey, Norma. Spy Harbor, Nova Scotia. Judy Josie's in the building. Yay! Linda Daly's in the building. My hero. I think she's been talking me off the ledge for, I don't know, months, probably years. But good to see you guys in here. Goodfish Lake, Alberta. Say hello to my son, Michelle. He's in Valley View, Alberta. So we've got Ohio here. Skywalking on Moon. Dr. Gail is in the house. Good to see you, Gail. Lynn Bridge, yay! I'm so happy, Lynn, that you're in the community and that you took the time to go in there and introduce yourself. I love Cambridge. I think I told you my story about Cambridge, but I don't have to tell everybody here live, right? It'll be just, some things you had to keep to yourselves, right? So Heather, hey Heather, you're here from Rochester, New York. Excellent. And Minnesota. Ingrid's here. Hey Ingrid, you're here from Norway. Awesome. Wow, you're here from a long ways away. I have no idea what time it is in Norway, but I'm impressed that you're here. I know I have, hey David, I'm from 2911. I love it. That's very cool. So yeah, 2911 is interesting. We'll be talking a little bit about that tonight too. So excellent. Well, let's just give it a couple minutes. Lynn comes from an area that I used to go to school with some girls when I was in university, and I went to school in Toronto, and all these girls came up from Cambridge, and let's just say they used to like to party a lot. We were like 18, 19, 20 years old. Who doesn't love to party at that age? So anyway. So Judy Josie, your grandfather is from Norway, and Judy next to me has the cutest baby ever, grandbaby ever. So I think we have the t-shirts for that, Judy. Hey Facebook user, I don't know who you are, but I'm glad that you're here. 1:04 in the morning. You go, Ingrid. I'm going to take special care of you because you thought enough to stay on to join us tonight. That's amazing. Fantastic. 3811s like to party. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. You're right about that. Well, we're going to have some fun tonight, obviously, by the group that's in here. Look, we got 33 of you in here already. That's a good sign, right? So, and you're from LA. Excellent. Awesome. Lots of people coming in from California. I had friends of mine. I'm happy that you're here too. I had friends of mine, internet friends, a gal that had come to me for a reading a few years back. Hey, Tina. And we got to know each other, and she did a few readings with me, lots of classes with me and whatnot, and courses and such. And she's a member of my membership. And anyway, she and her husband came and visited me and stayed with me for a weekend here a couple of weeks ago. So it was really, really neat to connect. So we got our little soul sister tribe. So a few of us were all together. It was like excellent. All right, so it's 8:05 where I am, so I'm going to start this up. So we're going to go through the presentation, and then I'm going to open it up to some questions. Okay. So for me, hey Jennifer, all the way from PEI. So I'm going to enlarge my screen because I know the last time I did this, everybody was kind of complaining that the font was a little too small. So I'm going to enlarge my screen, but that means I have to lose the chat for a few minutes. So bear with me. I will answer your questions eventually, but we're going to go through the presentation because there's kind of a lot to cover. And this is an intro class, okay? This is an intro class to understanding life path numbers. I'm hoping it's something that you aren't too familiar with and that it's something that's new to you. Hey, Jeanette, happy to see you here. All right, so let's do this. Anybody have any questions before I get going about how this is going to roll out? Nothing specific to numerology because I don't want to do that just yet, but if you got any questions about how it's going to roll out, it's going to be recorded, of course, and it'll show back up on the Facebook groups and also on YouTube. I see most of you are from Facebook, but there's some of you here from YouTube as well. Cool. Excellent. I'm just glad you're here. All right, let's go. So we're going to enlarge this. Who's a rock star? Figured out how to do that right out of the gate. Okay, so welcome to How to Speak Numbers. For those of you who don't know, I'm Ann Perry. I'm a numerologist. I'm AnnPerryNumerologist.com if you want to check me out. I do have a YouTube channel. Some of you know that because that's where you're watching the stream from. And I've also got the community, the Clarity Seekers community, which is brand new, just opened up on July 15th. So I'm super excited about that too. So this is an introduction to understanding sub-lessons in your life path number. So what does sub-lessons even mean? So first of all, I want to talk about, when I teach numerology, what I'm doing is I'm actually teaching you guys how to speak numbers. It's really no different than learning how to speak a language or learning how to apply letters to a word and then associating the meaning to the word. So a basic understanding of the vibration that's attached to each number is going to be the key to learning how to effectively speak numbers. So you have to be able to speak numbers to be able to really interpret the composite numbers. Now, when you do your life path calculations, not everybody is going to have what I call a composite life path number. Okay, so a composite life path number means that there are, I don't know if you can see my mouse or not, but anyway, 10, 1, for example, would be a composite number because 1 and 0, when they get added together, they add to 1. Okay, 28, 1, that's 2 and 8 equals 10, 1 plus 0 equals 1. So these are composite numbers, okay? Now it's possible for your life path number just to add up to 5 or 6 or 9 or 7 or whatever. But in this case, we're talking composite numbers. So how to interpret them. So in this case, when we're looking at somebody who's a 10, 1, a 28, 1, a 37, 1, I could have put in a 19, 1 there as well. These are all life path number 1s, but they're not all created equal, right? So, for example, somebody who is a 10-1, they're here to work through the sub-lessons related to the number 1, which is all about, being a pioneer, being a leader, being independent rather than codependent, being a self-starter, creative, entrepreneurs, that sort of thing. But the 0 in there is interesting. A lot of numerologists don't even observe that number 0, okay? But it's very important. The number 0 is actually a turbocharger to each number that sits beside it. Okay, so the 0 amplifies the energy of the 1. So somebody who is a 10-1 life path number, they've got those 2 1s there that are amplified. Okay, so that's double. It's almost like a master number in a sense. It's like double the intensity of that 1 energy. So the 0 is asking them to tap into their intuitive potential and their creative gifts to make it happen. Whereas if we look at this person over here as a 28-1, this person's here to learn the sub-lesson related to the 2. Okay, so the 2 relates to learning how to be a partner, learning how to play nice in the sandbox, learning how to be a collaborator, learning how to be patient. The 8 is learning how to work with your money, learning how to work with your power and your authority and not to be too much of a bully, and how to temper that a little bit. Well, that isn't at all what the 10-1 is, but there's still ones, right? So this is what I mean. It's really important for us to interpret the whole number because those aren't there for nothing, Like I always say, God wasn't giving out parts when he gave out gallbladders, right? We do need them, regardless of what everybody else says. So in this case, understanding that people who have the life path number of 1, they're not all created equal. So each number holds a unique vibration, and this is a code that I'm going to be teaching you how to crack. Okay, so an understanding of the commonality of this vibration is the key to interpreting a numerology chart. So for those of you who are in my Clarity Seekers community, next week we're going to be starting to learn numerology, and we are starting right at the beginning, right? So that's going to be next Tuesday. We're going to be starting at number 1, right? So we have to know, what is the 1 all about? I want you guys to know it hardcore before we move on to number 2. So that's what I mean by learning how to speak numbers. It's really important that we understand the vibration behind each one. So your life path number is the most important number on your chart. Okay, it's the concrete. It's the biggest one on your chart. It outlines your opportunities, your challenges, the lessons in your lifetime, what you've chosen to learn. Right? These are all the code. The code actually will tell you what you have agreed to learn. Like when we go back and we look at the 10-1 versus the 28-1. 10-1 was here to learn something entirely different than what the 28-1 is. So it's sometimes referred to as a destiny number, and it's going to help to identify what we're academically well suited for. So this is a really great skill for you guys if you've got children and you want to help them to be in better alignment with what they're going to be successful at. If you've got somebody, a child who is a 2 life path number, that's a child that may not do really well in a busy environment at school. They're going to do better one-on-one. They'll do better maybe in a smaller classroom, that kind of thing. And you know that by looking at the life path number, so you can set them up for success. It identifies our core needs, our strengths, our weaknesses. It's fixed and unchangeable because it's based on your date of birth, right? So that makes it concrete in nature. So how do we calculate that life path number? So there's different ways. Oh my God, I see this every day. I get challenged on this. I do have my own theory, and I'm going to be teaching it to you tonight, and I will defend why I do it this way. However, if the way that I choose to teach you how to do this doesn't resonate with you, if the end result doesn't resonate with you, you have to go with what does resonate with you. So if you have to use a different formula to tap into what your soul's contract is, do it. Right? Go for it. It isn't about me being right. I don't care about that. It's not about that. It's about tapping into the lessons that you've chosen to learn. It's tapping into that soul's contract that you wrote. So at the end of the day, none of us can prove which theory is correct, right? For me, my theory feels right for me. I'm hoping it feels right for you, but if it doesn't, I'm okay with that. So we're going to take the life path number. So the sum of the month, the day, and the year, and we're going to be reducing this to a single digit or a master number. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to add up the digits in your month, and then we'll reduce that to a single digit or a master number. Master numbers being 11 or 22 or sometimes 33 in the case of the years. Add up the digits in your day, reduce that to a single digit or a master number. And then add up the digits in your year and reduce that to a single digit or a master number. I only do simple math, guys. It doesn't get any more complicated than this. Okay. So here's an example. This is my date of birth, in case you want to send me a card or a cake or expensive present. March 25th of 1959. I know it's hard to believe, right? All right. So March is the 3rd month. Easy peasy. The day, 25th day. Add 2 and 5 together, comes to a 7. We add 1959 together. 1 plus 9 plus 5 plus 9 comes to 24. 2 and 4 equals 6. That's it. 3 plus 7 plus 6 equals 16. Okay? Simple, right? Pretty easy stuff. So we just reduce that month. Now, had the month been November, we would have left it as an 11. Had the day been the 11th or the 22nd, we're going to reduce that. We're going to leave that as a master number. If it's the 29th, we would reduce that to an 11. All right. Same applies to the year. Okay. So if your year adds up to an 11, a 22, or a 29, take the 29 or 38, whatever, reduce it to an 11, reduce it to that master number and stop there. So in this case, my life path number is a 16-7. So my sub lessons relate to the 1, to the 6, and my big lesson relates to the number 7. We'll talk about that here in a second. Now, common miscalculations, in my humble opinion. if we take March 25th, 1959, let's add that straight across, and that's going to add up to 34. Okay, and 3 and 4 equals 7. Well, when I first got introduced to numerology, probably 25 years ago, 22 years ago, something like that, that's all I knew was add the numbers straight across, and it comes up to, in this case, 34. But when I started reading about what the 3 and the 4 meant, I'm like, that does not resonate with me at all. The 3 says I have to learn how to communicate. I don't think I have a problem with that, right? I have to learn how to express myself. I have to learn how to have a sense of humor. Well, if anybody knows me, knows I got a pretty good sense of humor, right? So that's just not something I really had to learn how to do. The 4 relates to being organized, to being on time, to have a plan, a lesson plan put together for you guys, to organize my business, all those sorts of things. I got all that, right? I don't need to learn that. But I do understand that I do need to learn the lessons related to the 7. Now, let's flip that back for a second. Let's look at that 16-7 again. So this is, in my opinion, my life path number. Why? Because I know that one of the struggles I had was learning about the intensity related to the lesson associated with the number 1. The 1 is about learning how to be independent rather than codependent. God forgive me. I was codependent hardcore for a long time. I really suffered with a lack of confidence, right? I didn't really, I looked the part, but I didn't feel the part. So I really had to learn how to be a leader and to be authentic and original and to step into my creative potential. Couldn't do that very well. The other one, the 6, relates to responsibility, learning what is my responsibility and what isn't. Because the 6, that lesson of the 6 says, and you'll resonate with this if your life path number is a 6 for sure. The 6 says, I always have to do the right thing by everybody else except me, right? Everybody's more important than me, right? We got to put everybody in front of the bus. So the 6 says I had to learn how to step back and not take on all the responsibilities, because when we do that, when we're taking on all the responsibilities, we're really coming to a place of perfectionism, right? And we're taking on all the responsibilities because on some level our self-esteem is a little shaky. So we take on all this stuff that we know how to do because it makes us feel a little bit better about ourselves. But in the end, we get left holding all the balls up in the air because finally people go, she's going to do it. I can walk away. At the end of the day, the 7 relates to learning how to surrender and trust. Oh my God, that's a full-time job. Okay. it so is. But the thing that really got to me, guys, is that, and we're not talking karmic debts tonight, but the 16-7, 16 is a karmic debt. And do I ever know I'm paying back for that one? I'm not going to get into that tonight, but I can assure you I understand it. So for me, this method spoke to me. And the other reason I prefer this method is because if you were born on the 11th day or the 22nd day or the 29th day, those all equate back to master numbers, right? Your day of birth is a core number. It indicates a lesson that you've agreed to learn, okay? So if you just add the numbers straight across, you're not acknowledging the intensity and the importance of that core number, that being your day of birth, okay? So that's why I've chosen this method. It doesn't have to be your method, okay? If you add the numbers straight across and you go, yeah, that speaks to me more so, then do it that way. It's okay, right? But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter in the sense that what I'm teaching you tonight is going to apply either way, okay? All right. So notice what can happen when we don't break down our numbers individually. So March 12th, 1940, if it was done properly, it's going to be 3 for March, and then the 12th day, 1 plus 2 equals 3. And then 1940, add that together. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 4 is 14, 1 and 4 is 5. Add those together. 3 plus 3 plus 5 equals an 11. So this person's life path number is an 11. So 11 is a master number, and it's not intended to be reduced. It holds significant value. And the thing here, guys, is that if this person happens to be an 11, this means that even though they may not know anything about numerology, they will feel a double intensity to be creative and to be an influencer and to be somebody who is authentic and original and possibly artistic. That sort of thing. They know they're intended to make a difference. They know they're supposed to be doing something much bigger than what they're doing. And the list goes on and on and on. And you know that the 11s are dear to my heart for that reason. So where I feel it's a crime, if you add all the numbers straight across, the same person becomes a 20 /2, right? So 202. So they have the sub-lessons of the 2 and the 0, but you're not acknowledging the double intensity of the 1s, okay? So, many people will come to me and I'll look at their charts and I'll go, okay, you're what I would call a 20/2. Okay, their date of birth, doing it my way, comes up as a 20/2. And they're kind of bummed out going, well, damn, I thought it was a master number. And I'm like, no, this is good news, right? This is really good news. However, if at the end of the reading they say to me, you know what, sorry, I still feel like an 11, then guess what? They're an 11. It's okay. All right. Moving on. So let's introduce these composite numbers. So what exactly is a composite number? So when a life path number adds up to a double digit, whether you're going to add them straight across, if that's your method, or you're going to do it my way, if it adds up to a double digit, the numbers to the left of the slash tell us that this is a composite number, and this becomes a code. All right, so let's look at June 5th, 1981. So June equals the 6th month. So we're going to put the 6th there. The 5th day, that's a single digit. Bring it down as a single digit. It's a 5. 1981 is the year. Add that together. 1 plus 9 equals 10, plus 8 is 18, plus 1 is 19. Well, that's a double digit again. We've got to reduce it. 1 plus 9 equals 10. Still a double digit. Reduce it. 1 plus 0 equals 1. Okay, so now it's 6 plus 5 plus 1. Okay, equals 12. So this person's composite number is a 12/3. That is their life path number. The 3 doesn't cut it, guys. You can't just say you're a 3 life path number, right? Are you a 21/3? Are you a 12/3? Are you a 30/3? Are you just a 3? What kind of a 3 are you, right? It's important that you know what kind of a 3 you are, because then you'll know what you signed up for, right? And when you start working on the lessons that you actually signed up for, life gets really simple, right? It gets a lot easier than beating your head against a wall. Trust me, been there. So I want to point out that the number, in this case, the 1 and the 2 are referred to as sub-lessons to the main lesson. Okay, the main lesson is the 3, the sub-lessons are these ones. But I want to point out that the number that sits closest to the slash is the sub-lesson you will feel the most. So think of it as, the 2 is closest to me, so I'm seeing it more clearly. It's right in front of me. So in this case, the 2 relates to partnership and diplomacy and patience and learning how to be a collaborator, things like that. And the 1, of course, is learning independence, your creative potential, leadership roles, that sort of thing. So had the roles been reversed, you might say, well, what's the difference in 21/3, 12/3, same thing, same sublessons. Yes, they are the same sublessons, but the intensity of the sublesson sitting closest to the slash is what gives you another clue, right? See how important this is? All right. So how do we read a composite number? Well, 12/3, we know that the sublessons are the 1 and the 2. So let's understand that sublessons are weaknesses which need to be recognized if they're going to be overcome. So if you want a complete description of the core numbers, Linda Daly from Daily Progress, oh my God, she's just she's just so good to me. She's so amazing to me. She has created an amazing website that we just launched here a couple of weeks ago. And she has created an awesome resource page for you guys. So there's the website for it there. It's just AnnPerryNumerologist.com. And if you go to the resource section, you'll see there's a little link in there, and you can go down, and all of the numbers from 1 to 9 are all explained in there. So those are the numbers that make up the code. So it's important to study those. There's also a blog post in there called How Does Each Life Path Number Show Up? You might be interested to watch that as well. So again, that's on my website, AnnPerryNumerologist.com. Okay, let's go here. So sublessons. Some of you might recognize this. This comes from the work of Dan Millman. Now, let me show you. Dan wrote an amazing book. There it is. The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Millman. Now, this book, I think, is the Bible when it comes to describing life path numbers. There's nobody who's written a better book, in my opinion, than Dan Millman on life path numbers. What I don't like about Dan's approach is that, again, he teaches you just to add the numbers straight across. He doesn't get into day of birth. He doesn't get into your name on your birth certificate. It's not really a book on numerology per se. He calls them just simply life path numbers. And it's a guide to finding your purpose is what he calls it. But it is a kick-ass book. It's a wonderful resource. But I would definitely try to experiment with my method of breaking things down independently and adding the numbers straight across and see which of those sublessons speaks more clearly to you. So this is taken from his work. So sublessons of 1 and 2. So the 1, 2, 3. So this is John Smith. He's got a 12/3 life path number. So we know that the 1 up here relates to creativity and also to confidence. So there is a positive side and a negative side to each number. And it's important to understand the positive and the negative. And that's why in the community, I'm going to be teaching you quite intensely what each number is about, because you need to understand the positive and the negative side of it. Because if you don't, you won't know if you're falling short. So in the case, if you are doing well with your one energy, if that is one of your sub lessons, then you're channeling high energy and you're being very inspirational. You're turning it into creative endeavors that are of service to other people. You feel very secure with yourself rather than insecure. But if you're in the negative side, you might be feeling a little blocked, a little frustrated, kind of stuck in your life, maybe a little inferior, insecure, maybe a little addicted to something, right? But it's the weaker side of the one. So if you happen to be displaying those tendencies, you know at least what you're aspiring to do. And that is to go in and channel higher energy and inspiration and such. The next one, which is the bigger one for John because it sits closer to the slash, is the number 2. And this one's all about cooperation and balance. Okay, so when we're working well with this is somebody who has a very clear sense of personal boundaries, right? They can give to themselves, they can give to others in equal measure, right? They don't have to overdo it, to over-deliver. They know how to set personal boundaries and limitations. But when they are acting on the negative side, this is somebody who's feeling very overwhelmed, very resistant and reactive. They start out really helpful, but then suddenly they withdraw, right? They can be very shy, very insulated. The 2 needs to learn how to work in cooperation with people. They need to learn how to be partners. The ones don't really care, right? The one is like, well, I can work by myself. It's no problem. But the 2 really likes to work with people, so they have to learn how to work with people. And at the end of the day, the 3, which is the biggest lesson, relates to expression and sensitivity. So in the positive, when this person is expressing themselves positively, they're engaging in very heartfelt, uplifting conversations. They're expressing themselves really easily. They're sensitive, they're joyful, full of inspiration, got a great sense of humor. They don't take things too heavily. They kind of take life sort of on the lighter side. But on the negative side of that, they can feel very depressed, very disappointed in life, very sensitive. They complain, they criticize, they're filled with self-doubt, quite judgmental, that sort of thing, right? So the 12-3, if anybody in the group has a 12-3 as a life path number, it can be a difficult one for sure. The other reason for that is that the lesson that is closest to the slash is a 2. Well, we know that the 2 is an even number, okay? And we know that the 3 is an odd number. So when you put an even number against an odd number, it's like polar opposites. The 2 says, I just want to be in a partnership. The 3 says, no, I want to be social. The 2 says, I'm kind of shy. The 3 says, I'm outgoing, So it's always kind of this push, pull, or tug. They kind of don't know where they fit. So in this case, I made some notes down here. How do I look at that? Like, how would I put that into real words? So John is here to learn how to be independent. That relates to the number 1 in his efforts to embrace his creative potential so that he can inspire others. He also needs to learn to be a team player. That relates to his lesson of the 2, while establishing clear boundaries in the way that he gives of his time. He has to be careful not to overgive or to overdeliver. He has to learn to balance himself by learning how to express his emotions in a joyful way while releasing that grip of self-doubt, which is a tendency of the 3. Pretty cool, eh? Isn't that way better than just saying the guy's a life path number 3, right? It's a little bit deeper, isn't it? All right. Okay, so this is a list of all the core numbers and also the 11 and 22, the master numbers. So we've got the core numbers relate, the little description to the right here. You might want to take a screenshot of this if you can. I'm going to try and take this as a handout and upload it onto Facebook as a document somehow. I'm not sure if I can do that, but I'll try and figure it out. Or if I have to take a picture of it and just upload it somehow, I'll try and do that for you. After last night's crash and burn, I wasn't really all that savvy when I came to that. I'm still recovering. But the core number 1, this is somebody, if this is your sub-lesson, this is someone who's learning how to be independent, how to consider other people's needs, not just their own, to express originality, and to learn how to be a leader without being dominant. So what I want you to do is, I'm reading through these, I want you to take a look at your life path number. I'm sure you've done the calculation by now. Do your life path number and make some notes as we're going along. If you have a 1 in your life path number somewhere, any one of those numbers is a lesson. The ones to the left of the slash, those are the sub lessons, the smaller lessons. That's like the ingredients that we add to the big lesson, okay, which is the single digit on the right. So the number 2, this is somebody who, if you have the sub lesson of the 2 or even the main lesson of the 2, is to learn to promote harmony, work on being a partner, collaborator, to acknowledge your own needs, to not be an overgiver, to handle things in a sensitive nature but not overly sensitively, and to appreciate their intuition. Okay, they really the 2 needs to learn how to work in really diverse situations at times because they can be extremely sensitive. The 3 is learning how to be optimistic, learning how to express themselves creatively, resisting that fear of rejection. Now, when you think about, if you break these numbers down, Guy, the one is, I can stand by myself. I don't care. I'm a leader. I'm creative. I'm outgoing. I'm fine. I'm good, right? If you're a strong 1. If you're a strong 2, the 2 says, yeah, that's good for the 1 that they want to be alone. I don't. I want to be in a partnership, right? Partnership's important to me. And the 3 comes along and goes, yeah, well, I kind of like to be in the group, right? So the fear of rejection is real for the 2s and the 3s. The 2 says, I got to have somebody with me. I want to work with people. I don't want to work by myself. The 1s can do that. They can work by themselves. The 2 says, no, I want to work in a partnership. The 3 says, well, that's good for you, but I want to work in the group. I got to keep things busy. I want to keep things going, right? So each number kind of builds upon the next. So the 3 is learning how to be optimistic, how to express themselves creatively, and to resist that fear of rejection, learning how to manage a lot of social obligations. The 4 is very different than the 3. The 3 is very creative and light and airy and it's all over the place. And the 4 says, nope, I'm grounded. When you think about the 4, I want you guys to think about 4 posts into the ground. Boom, nailed, black and white. Everything's black and white to them. They need to learn how to maintain a very positive outlook rather than a restricted outlook. The 4 is known for focus, but they have to focus on what is right rather than what is wrong. They're wired to see the obstacle because they always want to eliminate the obstacle. It's not that they're necessarily negative, but they can come across as being negative simply because they have a tendency to kind of pick up on what needs to be fixed, right? So they need to view the obstacle as an opportunity rather than a limitation. They're learning how to be organized. 4s are typically organized. They need structure. They need organization. They need to focus on the satisfaction of being of service to others rather than the difficulty of the work itself, because they can become kind of the martyr if they've got too much work to do, because they are workhorses. The 4s are always the workhorses. The 5s have to learn how to be flexible and adaptable without scattering their energy all over the place. The 5 is all about change. They love change, right? So if you have a sub lesson of a 5, let's say you're a 15-6, or maybe your life path number is a 5, you're somebody who needs change, but you need to focus on what you need, what you want, how you're going to get there kind of thing, because you can be very scattered and all over the place. It's a very addictive number. It can be lured away really easily. So learning how to be flexible and adaptable in the face of change without scattering your energy all over the place, learning how to focus on worthwhile activities that help in your own personal growth rather than being just that immediate fix, right? The 5 is very spontaneous and it's very knee-jerk reaction to things, and it's kind of like they need their hit, they need their fix, they need their change kind of thing, right? So learning how to finish what you start is big. Maintaining balance and limitation in all things is really, really great. You know, the 5 is the seducer, right? The 4 says, I got to work. The 5 says, let's go play. Just want to go play. The 4 says, I got to save my money. I want to save money, right? So remember, you got your polar opposite. The 4 is even keel. It's the even number, right? And the 5 is kind of erratic. So it's learning how to manage that erratic behavior and scattered behavior of the 5. The 6 is here, really has a big need to be of service to others. So if you're, for example, a 16-7, for example, I'm a 16-7. My 6, my sub lesson in there is the 6 that says, I want to be of service, but I have a tendency to become of servitude, right? So I become a bit of a slave to the work that I do sometimes. So it's learning to establish balance. So when you look at the number 6, you can see that the 6 has this kind of round belly to it, right? It makes us think of the pregnant mom. That's the nurturer, right? That's the caregiver. That's the domestic one. So the 6 always has a real big interest in their home and in their family, but they tend to get a little overly involved. But they need to accept responsibility without resentment. They have to resist the need for perfectionism. Who doggy, I could do a whole class just on 6. So, and again, resist that temptation to become overly involved in the family drama, right? They got to learn to take the tights off and take the cape off and not try to save everybody. The 7, if this is a core number or it's a life path number, either way, this is learning to trust your intuition. Having faith and surrendering to something bigger than yourself is very important. Learning to wait with patience. I don't like that, but I have to. Learn to express what they feel rather than what they think. So here's the deal. If you have a 7 in your chart somewhere, if it's the day you were born on, or it's your life path number, or it's a core, or pardon me, a sub lesson, you're a head case, all right? Deal with it. You're a head case, just like me, all right? I got 3 7s in my chart. So we have a tendency to express what we think rather than what we feel. So we make decisions based on what we think we should do rather than what we feel we should do. And when we say, I think, what you're doing is you're knocking on the door of the ego saying, hey, what do you think? I need a little help with this. And the ego's up there going, ooh, I can't wait to mess you up. I can't wait to get you totally confused, because that's the job of the ego. The ego doesn't want you successful. Your heart will never lead you astray, but it's hard for those of us who have heavy 7s to get out of here and get into here. So the first thing you're going to do is eliminate the word think and replace it with the words I feel, okay? When we look at the number 8, the 8 is learning how to make money, spend money, and manage money, okay? It's about power and authority. It's about your relationship with money. You need to gain an understanding of how far your money will go, avoiding the pressure to need more money. Chasing the opportunity to make money will make you crash and burn every time. You need to chase the opportunity to be of service. That is the ticket. It's a tough lesson for those of us who have 8s, but it is what it is. Recognize the relationship that money and power have. Are you a hard-ass leader? Are you somebody who's a leader that is there for the team and is supportive and that kind of thing? That's great. Because you're part of a team and you're helping, for the good of all. But if you become too obsessed with material gain, then that's going to become really difficult for you. But the 8, one of the things I've learned about the 8, and I have an 8 personality, the 8 relates to recognizing that you're always in a position to teach people how to treat you. So what you choose to say will teach a person how to treat you. But just as easily, what you choose not to say will also teach a person how to treat you. Okay, you speak volumes when you say nothing at all, right? If somebody is pissing you off, they're not showing up on time, or they're taking advantage of you, or they're always eating your lunch out of the lunchroom fridge or whatever, and you never say anything and it's pissing you off, well, guess what? If you're not going to say anything, they're going to continue the behavior because you taught them it's okay, right? So that's a big one for the 8s, is to make sure that they get their worth, right? And to not complain about how much money you're not making, right? It's not fair for you to come home and say, well, look at this, I just worked 65 hours and this is all they paid me. Because I'm going to look at you and say, well, did you complain? Did you say anything to your boss? Well, no, I had to pay my bills. Right. Okay, so what did you just teach your boss? You just taught him that's all you're worth because you accepted it and you didn't say anything, right? That's just an example of how the 8 has to work through some stuff. The 9s have to learn how to work out of being of selfless service. The thing we got to know about the 9s is they're the fixers. They love to fix things. They are the solution people. They are the empaths. The problem with the 9 energy, and you guys who are 9s, you know it. You walk into a room and you feel everybody's stuff, right? You feel their pain. You feel their anxiety. You feel their depression. You just want to help. And there's a fine line here, because there's a part of you that says, I just want to help them. And there's another side that says, I just want to make it stop because I'm feeling it and it's painful for me, right? So jumping in to rescue these people is typically just enabling them. So really what the 9 needs to work on is learning how to help people to help themselves, right? Give the guy a fishing rod. Don't give him a fish. You can eat for a day. You give him a fish. Give him a fishing rod. He can fish for his life, right? You want to be handing out fishing rods. That's going to be your mantra. So learning how to be of selfless service without expectation of anything in return. So making sure that you're giving from the heart because you feel that it's the right thing to do, not because it is the right thing to do, but because you genuinely feel that it's the right thing to do. Just give for the pleasure of giving. Now, when we look at the 11s and we look at the 22s, and I guess I could have put the 33s in here too, there's not as many of them out there, but the 33, of course, is just double the lesson of the 3. And then we add that together and it becomes a 6. So in that case, you would look at the double intensity of the 3, and you would also look at the lesson of the 6. In the case of the 11, you're going to look at the double intensity of the number 1, but you're also going to look at the number 2 because the 2 ones add to 2. Man, if my math teachers could see me now, did you see how fast I did that? 1 and 1 equals 2, like just like that. They'd be rolling in their grave if they knew what I was doing right now. But the 11s are here to develop their intuition and their skills to be a spiritual messenger. You guys are spiritual messengers, like it or lump it, you are. Inspire others by their example. Use personal experiences to teach from. The thing for the 11s, what you got to know is 11s have that double 1 energy, right? So that double 1 energy says, I need to learn how to be doubly independent, doubly creative, doubly original, double the leadership role and whatnot. I have to create something. I feel like I have to create something that's going to inspire people and make a difference. That's true. But the problem is that the 11 often compares themselves to other people, and they suffer from the imposter syndrome, and they just stall and they don't do anything, right? The thing you got to know, 11s, is that we're asking you to create something that's your own. It's got to be something that's original. It's kind of like the way that I teach numerology. I don't know that there's anybody out there really teaching numerology quite like I do. I'm sure there's similar ways and whatnot, but I do it my way, right? And that's when I found my satisfaction. My growth number, which is a topic for another day, is an 11. And once I figured that out, I'm like, damn, like not only do I need to mentor to 11s, but I got to 11 up myself, right? I got to create some products and courses and communities and all that kind of stuff that's original, right? And that's when I found success, and not just monetary success, but that's personal success. The 22s, when we add the 2 and 2 together, of course, it comes to 4. So you're going to have to study the double intensity of the 2, and you're also going to study the intensity of the 4. But the 22-4, where they get a little confused, is they feel they need to create a foundation. Remember, the 4 is that four posts in the ground. They feel the need to create a foundation, but they think that they have to do it themselves. It's like that master energy, that old soul energy that's saying, I have to do it alone. No, you don't. The clue here is it's 2 2s, right? What do we know about the 2? The 2 is about partnership. It's about collaboration. It's about building that foundation with partnership. It's finding other people who will buy into the same passion that you have for whatever it is you want to create. The 11s, the 22s, and the 33s, these are all humanitarian numbers. These guys are all called to do something to enhance the planet in some way. It's like you are intended to leave the planet in better condition than when you arrived. Okay? So hopefully that all makes sense. I'm going to open it up for questions here in a second. But I want to mention that if you are ready to learn more about this, if you do like this teaching style, the difference between this and what I'm going to be doing in the Clarity Seekers community starting next week is that when we're in the Clarity Seekers community, we're doing it on Zoom. So we're seeing each other. If you want to have your camera on, great. If you're not comfortable, turn it off. No big deal. But we'll be able to actually talk to one another rather than doing this chat thing. So it's kind of a neat thing. You can check it out on my website, amperrynumerologist.com. It's kind of a long one, but it's right at the top. You can't miss it. But I'm doing live numerology classes twice a month. Okay, so there's 2 dates to choose from. I do it Mondays and Tuesdays. There'll be 2 times to choose from so that, we're going to hit all those time zones because I know that's kind of an issue. They're all recorded. It's $22 a month or $222 a year, right? Plus you get, there's more than 40 master classes in there already, right? Dr. Gail, she was a speaker in my group and talked about aliens and how we communicate with aliens and how we can heal with aliens. So we bring in a live speaker every month. So anyway, check it out because it is an awesome opportunity. I'm going to show it to you here in a second. I'm going to actually take you into the membership and show you around just to give you a little bit of a bird's eye view because I know it's hard to kind of gauge it from here. But I want to teach numerology to you guys, okay? And I've tried to make it as absolutely as affordable as I can. Usually my classes run somewhere around $297 to $397 for a 4-week class. It's $22 a month now, right? So it's pretty fantastic. So we're going to do the basics initially, and then come January, we're going to kick it off into some really good stuff. So I'll be teaching it again very differently than most. Okay. There. All right. Now I want to just show you one thing, and then we'll go right to your questions. See if I got this right. Here we go. Boom. Boom. There. Okay, hopefully you can see that. This is the membership. Inside the membership, this kind of gives you an idea as to what kind of courses are in there. Each one of them has a video. They have a handout. They have an audio as well. Every one of them is listed here. And then you go into here. This is the community, and this is the part I'm so excited about because I didn't have this in the last membership. That's why I'm referring to this as a community rather than a membership, because I want to build community. So we've got some different places here. We've got the general discussion here. So this is where I'm going to be welcoming you and hoping that you guys will introduce yourselves. A few little messages and things, just like a Facebook group, but within the group itself. It's not outside in Facebook land, which I'm kind of happy about. We have, that's our upcoming class, this month in August 30th, we have Allison May coming in, and she is going to be teaching us all about light language, okay, and soul language. Oh my God, guys, this will blow your mind when you see it. I've just been introduced to it and I can't get enough of it. It's so cool. This is a schedule of numerology classes, right? They're all in there. The Zoom links are there, super easy to get into. We've got the numerology forecast in there. We've got the members inspiring members. So this is where we're placing things like Angela Sensley. She decided that Dancing in the Dark was a really great video for her, really inspired her, so she shared it, right? And we've got this one. I shared this one, Standing Outside the Fire, and so on and so forth. And Rose showed Magic from Olivia Newton-John. And it's just really cool just to kind of help that with that. And then we've also got a bit of a book club going on in here too. So I want people to be able to recognize the books that I think are pretty cool. So yeah, that's about it. Oops. And we're going to stop the sharing. Here we go. I hope that was helpful. I hope that you got a kind of an idea as to what that's all about. And I do hope that you'll consider joining us. All right, let's just go up here. I'm just going to back it up here and just see if there's any questions that I missed here. All right, so I'm going to go through here, and you guys are welcome to post a few here now as well. Hey Nina, good to see you. Good to see you. So Tara's saying my birthday is May 16th of 1972. So yours is an interesting date of birth, Tara. I'm hoping you're still here. So we got oops, so you must be from Europe because you do it a little different than I do. 1972. So we've got 9, 10, 14, 9, 10, 14, 5. I'm not sure how you came up with that. Am I doing that wrong? 6, 5, no? Okay, so we're going to take May is worth 5, 16, 1 and 6 equals 7, 1972, 1 and 9 is 10, 17, 18, 19, I did it wrong. There you go. You're correct. You are a 13-4 life path number, but you're not just a 13-4 life path number. You were born on the 16th day, so you also hold that karmic debt as well. So seeing as you're on YouTube, you might want to go over to my channel and check out the video on the 13-4 and the 16-7 karmic debts, because you got both of them. You go, girl. Go big or stay home, right? So Vanessa, you're asking about a 10. Okay, I talked about that a little bit earlier. So the 10, so we've got the 1, the 0, and the 1, assuming that that's what your life path number is. The 0 is an intensifier, okay? The 0 amplifies the number on either side, okay? So it's almost like a master number in a sense, but the 0 says you're here to work with your intuitive gifts. So rather than being like a 28-1, the 8 is learning how to be a better manager, how to work with your money, you know, managing a power and authority and all that stuff. You're the 10-1. So the 0 is much a softer energy. So you're, you know, a 19-1 would be somebody I'd call a bit of a hard-ass leader, a little tougher. But the 10-1 is somebody that leads by gentle persuasion rather than brute force. Not to say all the 19-1s are brute force, but, you know, they have a heavier hand on management than what the 10-1 would. So hopefully that will help you there. David uses the same method I do. Yay. So Roxanne, you're seeing repeating numbers. I do have a video on repeating numbers. You can check that out as well. You're welcome, Vanessa. Yeah, I can't wait for you to get started too. Okay, so Vanessa, you're stumped with yours. You're October 28th. October 28th of 1981. Okay, so we're going to break them all down independently. So October is the 10th month. 1 plus 0 equals 1. We've got the 28th day. 2 and 8 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. We get 1981. 1 plus 9 is 10. Plus 8 is 18. Plus 1 is 19. 1 and 9 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. Straight up 3. You are a 3 life path number. You have no sub lessons at all. So don't be confused. You're not a 3 out of 3, by the way. You are a straight up 3. Okay. It is possible, and yours is a case in point where your life path number does not have sub lessons. It's just simply the 3. So all you need to do is study the vibration related to the number 3. I would also pay attention. Go to my website. Under the resources, you'll see the resource for the number 1. We'll talk about what it means to be born on the 28th day. You might want to check that out. So yes, you are correct. You're a straight up 3. Does the 0 in 30/3 mean anything, or is it just the 3? Oh no, the 0 is big. One of my best friends, Holly Poole, is a phenomenal astrologer, and her life path number is a 30/3. The 0 again relates to the intuitive gifts, right? So you're not a 21/3, you're not a 12/3, you're not just a 3. You brought in the 0. Go and watch my video on YouTube. Just search on my channel, Turbocharger. I think that's what it's called, Turbocharge. Just type in Turbocharge and it'll come up. So it relates to the 0 and what it means, because it is an amplifier. It really does amplify the numbers on either side of it. So it's very important. You're not just a 3, you're a 30/3, and that's very significant. So work on your intuitive gifts. And I'm glad that you're here, Tara, because this is exactly what you're intended to do, is learn how to do this stuff, right? So I'm glad that you're here. Jeanette, for the other core numbers that are calculated using our names, do we use our birth name, nicknames, preferred public name, and or married name? Excellent question. It's not really what I'm talking about tonight, but I'll quickly answer it for you. When we are looking at a numerology chart, we consider the name on the birth certificate. Okay, so even if you were adopted out or whatever, however that first name was published on the birth certificate in its entirety, you're going to take each name and break down independently and reduce them all to single digits or master numbers, then add them together and reduce that to a single digit or a master number. Go on my website. There's a how to calculate your expression numbers on there somewhere in the resources. I know it is. That's how organized Linda keeps me. So, but case in point though, or further to your question, Jeanette, when we're looking at names, you're born with a particular birth name, and you vibrate at a particular number. Let's say it's a 9. Okay, so the 9 says your expression numbers. Your expression number comes from the totality of all the letters in your birth name. That creates the expression number. The expression is what people see in you. It's what you're showing the world. Okay, so the 9 relates to being compassionate and being worldly and very much a humanitarian and such. Now, if you dropped your middle name, as many people do, and you just now you're just Jeanette Hurd, assuming that's your maiden name, that changes the vibration. So it changes the way people will respond to you. However, people are like, oh yeah, that's great because I had a karmic debt, no, that does not eliminate that karmic debt. That does not eliminate the fact that you had a 9 as an original expression number. It just changes what you're putting out there. So in my opinion, even though I haven't done it myself, changed my name a couple of times, I really feel that everybody should be introducing themselves as their full name on their birth certificate, because you chose that vibration. You didn't choose your birth name, but you chose the vibration of your birth name. Okay. And so you sent forth a message telepathically to whoever named you in this lifetime. And you said, listen, I don't care what you call me. Call me whatever you want. But you have to make sure that my name will vibrate at the 9, because I need that 9 to support me on my journey as a whatever your life path number is. Okay, so we don't choose our name, but we choose the vibration. So once you start screwing around with that vibration, you're kind of messing up your soul's contract, in my humble opinion. Hopefully that helped. All right, Rachel, I'm a 9 and it can be too much, feeling the need to want to help and fix. Oh my God, Rachel, I'm so there with you. I get it. Totally understand that. And yes, it can be for sure. I really hope, and please don't think I'm trying to sell you a membership, because I'm not, but I really feel that it would be an awesome place for you to be, because we have really been catering. It initially was the Master Number 11 membership. It's now the Clarity Seekers community, which has a ton of stuff in there related to energetically sensitive people like yourself, right? So how to handle the narcissists, how to handle relationships when they're taxing and they're draining. How do you clear yourself? We have aura hygiene in there from a native shaman that came in and showed us how to do all the clearings. And dealing with karmic relationships and things like that. It's all in there. So, oh yay, Naked HD XYZ, in love with us. Awesome. Not. Just a second. How will we do that? Boom, and you're gone. Okay, so yeah, I just cycled out of the people pleasing. Yeah, good for you, Jeanette. That's awesome. I'm still helpful, but definitely have set my boundaries now. Oh my God. Go girl. That's awesome. It's so good. And Amanda, you're an 11. Excellent. So you get lots of support here. Brian, let's see. You're, let's see, October 2nd of 1997 when I was 10, 19, 26, 8. Yep, you're an 11. You're straight up 11, Brian. That means that your sub lessons are the double ones. Okay, so 99% of what I produce is speaking to you. So how do you stop the people pleasing? You just choose not to. It's not easy, but yeah, it's tough. It's no questions. The thing is, with you, Brian, like you've got the double sensitivity. You're born on the second day, right? So you're born on the second day, you've got an 11-2, you get double twos, double the need for partnership, double the need for peace and for harmony and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes you kind of sacrifice yourself in favor of keeping the peace. So the 11s have a tendency to, you know, they're up here because your vibration is so high and the rest of us are kind of here. And you're always trying to navigate that space in between. There's a part of you that says, yeah, I just want to do something and be original and authentic and just go for it. But yeah, I don't know how far I can push before people will reject me because those double ones can be a little intense. So I got to learn how to, you know, balance that a little bit so I don't get rejected because at the end of the day, the 2 doesn't want to face the rejection. So people pleasing is big for you, but we do cover a lot of that in our community because that's a cycle that oof, all of us have got to work on. So good for you for bringing that up. So Jeanette is saying, for me, it was trauma. Don't think you want that type of lesson. Good vibes. Okay, so let's talk about that just for a second. I'm not sure if I'm quite understanding where you're going with this, and forgive me, Jeanette, if I'm missing the mark, but I know this whole concept of life lessons, that we've chosen our lessons, can be tough, especially for those of you who have experienced trauma in your life, okay? We've all had trauma to a degree, right? Some of us have had it worse than others. You know, and I talk about this a lot, and I apologize if I'm repeating myself to those who've already heard me talk about this, but I feel like I need to share this right now. The concept is that we choose our parents. And a lot of people are going, like me, I was kind of like, WTF? Like, seriously? Really? What was I smoking that day? You know? God bless my parents. I had great parents. I really had good parents. But my dad was an alcoholic. My mom had some mental health issues. It was tough. It was not a walk in the park. And so the question was, when I was 43 years old, and this concept of I've had, you know, if I was going to go anywhere as a numerologist, I had to accept that I had chosen my parents. I'm like, I don't, okay, that might be good for everybody else, but that's not working for me. So I decided to look a little bit more closely at my numerology chart. And unlike a few of you in here, I have no 9s in my chart. So the 9 says I'm missing that component that makes me naturally empathic. I had to learn how to be empathic. It did not come naturally to me. I'm sensitive, but to be empathic was a little bit of a different ballgame for me. And so when I looked at my chart a little closely, I recognized that, and I thought, all right, my big mystery is my dad. Like, why would I choose a guy if I'm supposed to learn something from him? And that's why we chose, you know, I chose him because I was supposed to learn something. If he doesn't want to play nice in the sandbox and doesn't want anything to do with me, what was I supposed to learn, right? So I just couldn't connect the dots to that. So I decided to look at him differently, and I decided to look at him with empathy, and I started digging. I was 43 years old, and I did not know that my dad was only 5 years old when his dad died. And it was a sudden death, and his father was blamed, or his mother, pardon me, was blamed for his death. So that left a 5-year-old pretty scarred, right? So that explained to me why my dad drank. I could give him a pass. You know, he's a little bit messed up. Dad's got a lot of junk in the trunk. Because I always thought it was because I wasn't good enough. Nope, now I start to see Dad's got some junk in the trunk. But that still didn't answer the question as to why would I have chosen a man that wanted nothing to do with me? Wouldn't you think you'd choose like Ozzy or Harriet? You know? I'm dating myself. Anyway, some of you will get that. Moving forward to last year, Susan Saucier, God bless her, from Spirits and Beyond. She's a psychic medium. She's the one that I do the numerology forecasts with every month. she did a session for me, a mediumship session, where my father came through, and my dad told her to tell me, "You got to tell Anne that when she asked me to be the drunken dad, I said no, I wouldn't do it because I didn't want to hurt her. But she was relentless. For whatever reason, for whatever her growth curve was, whatever her lesson plan was, she needed me to be that delinquent dad. And I loved her enough to be that for her." What? You know? All right, so let's take that, and for those of you who have experienced trauma in your lives from a parent or a sibling or somebody, it doesn't matter who, I'm sure you're sitting there going, I still wouldn't have chosen that behavior. No, nobody chooses the abuse. We don't choose people because we abused them in a previous lifetime. You can have at her at me at this time. No, that's not how this rolls out. We choose people so that we can rise above the lessons that we need to learn. Maybe if you were abused sexually, right? Maybe you're learning to trust again. Maybe you're learning patience or forgiveness of yourself because you didn't know any better, you know, or forgiveness of that perpetrator or whatever. I don't know what it is. But the fact is, we choose not the experience, but we choose the opportunity to learn through the experience. But so we don't choose the actual crime, if you will. Okay. So, and it is possible, as I learned just last year, I knew it, but I didn't know it, right, until it landed with me, that it was possible that my father could have been the one that asked me to stand there as the neglected child. But now I'm confirmed that I'm the one that asked him to come to be the neglectful dad. Because it can work both ways. Now wrap your head around that concept, right? So I don't know if that helped you, Jeanette. I hope so in some way, or hope somebody. Is it Gail Minogue? I'm not sure what the question is. I know Gail's a numerologist, but Priya, I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. David, master number 33. I've met some geniuses that are 33s. I've noticed that some 33s have serious emotional issues. Have you observed the same thing? 100%, absolutely. Because when you look at the single three really struggles with self-ridicule and judgment, self-criticism, like they're really hard on themselves, and they don't quite know where they fit. They have to learn how to express themselves without ridicule, like twice as much as anybody else. They're meant to share and to teach people about love, about acceptance, about the fact that perfectionism doesn't exist, because the 33 is a 6, and the 6 is always working on that need to release the need for perfectionism, because perfectionism just asks us to procrastinate because we don't feel good enough, right? And we just keep setting the bar higher and higher and higher, and we never reach it. Okay, hopefully that helps you in some way. Melissa, hey Melissa, you are September 25th of 1991. That was a great year. My son was born that year. This makes you, no, this actually, so we're going to take September and bring it down as a 9. We're going to reduce the 25 to a 7, and then we're going to reduce 1991 to 20, and then 2 and 0 equal 2. So now we're going to add 9 plus 7 is 16, plus 2 is 18. So you're an 18-9, not a 36-9. Now there's quite a significant difference. So if you go back to that chart, hopefully you took a screenshot of that, and I'll try and share it afterwards in the Facebook group. If you study the 36-9 and you study the 18-9, I'm pretty sure you're going to I'm an 18-9. I'd be really interesting. I'd be interested to see how you felt about that. That's the only way I seem to learn. Okay, Ingrid Marie, January 25th of 1975. Lots of 25s in today, hey? Best day of the month to be born, just saying. 1 9 is 10, 17, 22, 7, and 1. So you're a 30/3. Okay, so we just talked about that earlier, right? So you really are intended to get involved in this kind of work, Ingrid. You really are. You're meant to tap into numerology, astrology, tarot, whatever speaks to you, because that 0 in there says, I planned on, I asked to, I agreed to learn about my intuitive self, to learn how to tap into something bigger than me, and to learn how to communicate that. So you're intended to be a reader of some sort, or some kind of a spiritual teacher of some kind. So you're welcome, Tara. My mom is also 0219, 1966, so that makes her 34-7. 1 9 10, 16, 22, 23, 24, 25. No, she's a 25-7. Because 1966 adds up to 22, so that's a master number. We leave that one alone. Okay. The 19, 1 and 9 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. And then we've got the 2 for February. So she's a 25-7 with a karmic debt of the 19. So she's an older soul for sure. But she's not learning how to express herself or how to get organized or all that stuff. Certainly not from her life path number. That doesn't mean to say that that's not going to show up somewhere else in her chart. You see, that's the other thing we're going to be learning in the community starting next week is, you know, a 1 in a life path number is a lesson. A 1 in an expression number is a gift or a talent. A 1 in a heart's desire number is a passion. A 1 in a day of birth is another sub-lesson. A 1 can be a life path, or probably can be a personal year, which is a cycle. Or it could be an essence, you know, that tells us how you're going to go through that personal year. So we're diving deep, guys. This is a deep dive into the numbers so that you really know how to crack your codes. I think that's just so incredibly important. They don't teach this enough in the books. That's all I'm saying about that. Okay, and David's saying, I've also observed master number 11s are great diplomats. Example, Barack Obama, Anthony Blinken, and Stephen Colbert. Now, so the jury's out on Barack. Okay, so I think when I did his date of birth, I believe he's a 20/2. I honestly, I just don't know how you'd cope. You know, if you're an 11, you know what I mean. Like, I don't know how you'd cope as the President of the United States being an 11. I honestly don't. I would think that would be absolutely horrifically difficult because the 11s have a very hard time in large groups, you know. They prefer the one-on-one, single type interactions and that. So I'm quite sure that I looked at that and I felt that he was a 20/2. But again, I can't prove I'm right? That's just an own personal observation. So, hey Jody, you're a 16/7 like me. What were you doing that day when you signed up for that? So you're January 6th of 1971. 1 and 9 is 10, 7 is 17, 1 is 18, that's a 9, 10, 16, 7. Yeah, you are. You're a 16/7. So you've got double the intensity of the 6 lesson, Jody. So I want you to really study that chart and look at that number 6. Because that's really important. You've got, you know, double intensity of the 6. So that's learning that you don't have to be responsible for everything, that you don't always have to do the right thing by everybody. Sometimes you can do what's right for you, that you can do what you feel is right rather than what you think is right. It's establishing balance and not being the person that over-delivers because your self-esteem might be a little shaky at times, and so you have a tendency to take on all these jobs and responsibilities to make yourself feel a little bit better about yourself, but when you do that, you kind of alienate yourself because everybody else is like, fine, she apparently does it better than me, go have at her, right? And they leave you alone and you end up with all the responsibilities. I got the t-shirt. I got it in all colors, so we could go on and on about that. Hey, Sincere Love Taylor, you're a Master 11 here. That's awesome. Good to see you. Christina C is a 33/6. Welcome. Judy, you are June 12th, 62. 1 9 is 10, 16, 18, that's a 9. 18/9. That does not surprise me, you being that animal lover and people lover and humanitarian and all those good things that you are. So that doesn't surprise me a bit. You want to go and study the 9 for sure, but I would study the 1 and the 2 as well in your day of birth. I think there's some information there for you. So Priya, you are June 29th of 1965. 1 9 is 10, 16, 21, 3, 11, and 6. 19, 29. 1965? Is that what we said? I'm losing them. Okay. 1 and 9 is 10, 16, 21, 2 and 1 is 3. 29 is 11. That's 14. That's a 20/2. Yes, it's a 20/2. That's correct. Yeah, because you take the 29 and you break it down to an 11 to get your calculation correct. However, your sub-lesson, again, the day of birth is like a sub-lesson, so you're going to want to study the 2 and the 9 as well because there's something in there for you as well to learn. Yep, Judy, you're right. You're an 18/9. You got it. So we've got, hey, Jennifer, June 3rd to 77. I should know this because I've taught you before. I should remember these things. 1, 9, 10, 17, 24. That's 6, 3, and 6, 9, 10, 15, 6. The natural teacher, right? Natural teacher, the one that needs to express herself. Get on it. You know what I'm talking about. You got this. It's all good. Deborah, 1958. Let's see. 1 and 9 is 10, 18. I add up strangely, guys. I'm sorry, but I don't do math the same way as everybody else does. That's a 5. That's a 9. Nope, that's a 10 1. So we're going to take October and break that down. I'm assuming that's October. We're going to break that down as a 1 because 1 plus 0 equals 1. And then we've got a single 4. And then we're going to take 1958, add that together. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 8 is 23, and 2 and 3 are 5. So you are at 10/1. That is lucky for you, right? Nobody wants the karmic debt of the 19-1 if they don't have to have it. So good to know. You're in 11. You got to check out my videos. I got lots of them. No worries, Vanessa. Let's see. What else we got here? Elizabeth, is it weird or exceptional that my sister is life path 33/6, expression 11, birthday 22, maturity 44? Holy, wow, that's a lot of juju in there. Yes, that's unusual. There is no question. That's a lot to bear for sure. Oh my gosh, that's a ton. I'm sure she feels a huge sense of responsibility to anything and everything. So I would encourage her to really study that chart, right? Really study. She'd be a great candidate for the classes because I think if anybody needs to really understand why she's here and what she signed up for, that's your sister for sure. Now you are February 23rd of 1966. 1, 9 is 10, 16, that's 22, 5 and 2. It's between 29, 11. Yep, you got it, 29, 11. I do have a video, you probably already know it, on the 29, 11. My Lou, you were June 13th. So you've got the karmic debt of the 13. So check out my video on karmic debt number 13/4. So 6 and 4, 1, 9 is 10, 17, 18, 19, and 1. You are the 11 with double intensity of the number 1. Okay, you're straight up 11 with the karmic debt of the 13. Tina, July 22nd, 1075. I don't think so. I could be wrong. Well, I'm thinking you weren't born in 1075, or you're some slick chick. You want to try that again? Hey, Katie Cat, you are at 21/3. Cool. You're welcome, Vanessa. Okay, here we go. Tina, July 22nd, 1975. All right, so July comes down as a 7, right? The 22 is a master number. Leave it alone. Don't reduce it. 1975, we're going to add that together. 1 and 9 is 10. Plus 7 is 17, plus 5 is 22, so it's another 22. So you're going to add 7 plus 22 plus 22. So that's 44 and 7, 50. You're a 51/6. That's an unusual life path number, to be honest. So study the number 22. Okay, that's important to you. Study the numbers 5, 1, and 6 as well. Angela Spenceley is in the building. I'm so happy to see you here. You're one of my newest members to the newest group, so that's awesome. So glad to see you here. August 12th is 66. Let's take a look. So 1 and 9 is 10, 16, that's a 22. So we're going to leave that alone. The 12th is a 3 and the 8. So that's 33. You're 33/6. Cool. Oh, we're going to have some fun with you. I'm so glad you joined the group. But yeah, you're a 33/6. That's amazing. That's going to make me really step up my game to talk more about 33s, isn't it? So I do have a video on 33. If you check it out on YouTube, it's there. Amber Marie, 20/2. Okay, so we got 202. So study the number 2. So the 2 relates to partnership and collaboration and patience and diplomacy and learning how to manage your sensitivity. And the 0 is working with your intuitive gifts. So somebody like you, Amber Marie, would be somebody who would work really well in the healing arts, you know, like as a massage therapist or an acupuncturist or somebody who works, you know, in that kind of a field, because you love working one-on-one with people. And in fact, you're very effective working one-on-one. And if your first name, is going off track again, but if your first name actually on your birth certificate is Amber, You are a leader. The A vibrates at the 1. You are a leader. And the R at the end of that is a 9, which is being the humanitarian, the healer, right? So definitely look at something to do in the healing arts if you haven't already figured that out. Milo, you still have not figured out what to do with your career. It's okay. You've got time. I can't remember. Yeah, your life path 11. So here's the thing, Milo. 11s are always doing this. They're always tapping their watch. They're always saying, oh God, time's running out and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing yet, and that's because you're such an old soul and you've had so many lifetimes, right? So you're tapping into all this cellular memory of previous lifetimes. I was better then. I was more famous then. I was more successful then. I was all that then, right? And there's almost that panic that time's running out, that you won't have a chance to do what it is you're intended to do. So the only trick for that is to really practice being present, really practice being in the moment and celebrating what you have accomplished rather than what you haven't. Because if you keep focusing on what you haven't accomplished, you get stuck there, right? You're going to be fine. But I know, I can tell just by your name without getting into all this, I know that you're somebody who wants it figured out because you like routine and you like to know what's happening and you like to know what's going on and have a bit of a plan, and you're kind of frustrated because you don't have that plan, right? So, where's this guy coming from? Hang on, guys. I keep getting these people in from YouTube that don't belong here. You know what I'm saying, Vern? Okay, David, numerology entangled with quantum physics. Have you observed events in history that vibrate a symbolic function? Are you going to tap my brain that hard? Example, day numbers, time of day, retrograde forms of particular date, obviously adding and reducing to the root number. I have some videos out there where I have observed certain dates and times, certainly years, 2022 being one of them. You can check, I've got quite a few videos out on that, on conversations and such. But to say that I've gone back in history and whatnot, I get curious about things, every now and again, but I can't say that I've been prompted to do that. But it would be interesting. Tara, do you add up number 11 across in a name? Not sure how to answer that question. When you are adding up a name to get your expression number, you're going to break down each name independently. Okay, so my first name is Ann, A-N-N. That comes up as an 11. I'm going to leave that as an 11. My middle name is Louise. I don't remember what that comes up to. I think it's a 9. Bring it down as a 9. And my last name was Drummond. That comes down as a 4. So then you're going to add those all together. 11, in my case, 11, 9, and 4. Add those together, reduce it to a single digit or a master number. Hopefully that helps. Jeanette, awesomeness. Thank you. I did not want a karmic debt. You chose it. I did go by my full birth name. Oh, you're recalculating definitely 3. Good. Awesome. Hey, Lynn Bridge. Lynn's another one of our community members. Good to see you here. For other core numbers, do we also look at the composite numbers for the sub-lessons? Some schools of thought will say yes, some will say no. When I do a chart, no. But if I'm really digging hard, like if it's a family member or somebody like that, yeah, I'm going to look at it. I think there's some value in it. There absolutely is. It's not typically taught that way, but yeah, there's definitely some value in it. It's definitely open for discussion when we get there, and we can address some of that next week in the class for sure. December 1st, 1952. Okay, 1, 9, 10, 15, 17. That's an 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. You're a 12-3, Katie Cat. So study the 1, 2, and the 3. I sure can, Amber Marie. Let's just see. We're looking at, assuming this, yes, this will be August 16th of 1994. I gotta use my cheat sheet. My brain's getting tired. 1, 9, 10, 19, 23. That's 5 and 7 and 8. 7, 7, 14, 15, 20/2. Is that what you had? Yeah, 20/2. So it's a 22. Now, let's just look at that for a sec. 1 and 6 is 7. 15, 25, 34, 38. See, if you added the numbers straight across, Amber Marie, you'd come up as a 3811. So I want you to do that exercise. Examine what it would mean to be a 3811. Go watch my video on 3811. and see if that resonates with you more so than being a 20/2. Okay? That might be an interesting exercise. See, there's homework, guys. Careful what you sign up for on the internet. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more, and then I'm going to wrap this up. David, 1 and 9 is 10, 17, 21, that's 3, 3 and 3 is 6, and 5 is 11. That's an 11. Oh, I'm so glad you were able to be here, my Lou. This is awesome. And you're so welcome. You're welcome, Brian. I'm glad I'm hitting home. That's a good thing. Glad that's answering a lot. That's the purpose. I love doing this stuff, guys. I just felt inspired. I don't know why we crashed and burned so hard last night without my mic, but anyway, it's behind us now, right? It's answering a lot. Good. Hey, Loon L1111. Good to see you here. At least you'll be able to watch the recording, so it's all good. You're welcome, Jeanette. Dr. Gail is going to speak in the masterclass, so wondering if you were talking about Gail Minogue. No. Oh, I'm sorry, Priya. No, Gail, it's Gail McLeod, Dr. Gail McLeod. She's an expert in communicating with aliens. And she just completely blew me away when we first met. And she put on a wonderful live event that we recorded, and it is now in the community. It's one of the classes that you can take in the community. Oh, I should share that with you guys. Hang on. Yep. I got stuff I can show you. Hang on. All right, there's the website. That's what you go to. Very simple though. Go to AnnPerryNumerologist.com, Clarity Seekers Communities, right up top in the menu. It's super easy to find. Just click on that and it'll go down and explain it all to you, and you can sign up. There's all kinds of juicy bonuses for signing up too. There's a couple bonuses for signing up for $22 a month, or there's some really kick-ass bonuses if you sign up for the year. It's $222 for the year, and I'm throwing in a $197 course, $147 worth of meditations, and another $47 course. So it's pretty good. Some really good value in there. Yeah, so that's how you get in. Let's go back here. I'm glad you're finding it interesting. No, it is not unusual to have multiple family members, Devon, with master numbers. Very, very common. I think the old souls just kind of connect. They just all connect. Amanda Farley, let's see, 1 and 9 is 10, 18, 19, that's 1, that's 8, that's 9, 10, 11, 12. So you're 12-3. Life path number 12-3. 1, 9 is 10, 18, 19, that's a 1, that's an 8, that's 9. Yeah, 12-3. Sorry, let's start. I'm doing so many calculations, I'm starting to lose it. Hey, Laura, good to see you here. 1, 9 is 10, 18, 26 is 8, 10, 11. You're straight up 11, so you got to study the double vibration of that 1. Hey, Cesar, good to see you. And you're at 2911. Awesome. You're welcome, Ingrid. Soul Path 11. Excellent. My labor with my son was induced because my doctor was going on vacation during my due date. Oh, my doctor tried that. I wonder now if that made his life plans complicated for him. Nope. I don't believe it is. No, I don't. I believe that the child chooses their date of birth regardless of what happens. I had scheduled sections for both of my... No, for the first one it was an emergency section. The second was scheduled. But I totally believe that we choose our date and time of birth. Yeah, so I don't think he made his life any more difficult. He chose his lessons. Birthday is my son. 1, 9 is 10, 17, 23. That's a 5, 16, 17, 8. Your birthday is a 17-8, so you're not just an 8, remember. Don't call yourself just an 8. You're a 17-8. That means you're here to learn the lessons of the 1 and the 7 to be the best 8 you can be. And my son is, I'm assuming that's 2006, so that's an 8. And 6 is 14, 15, 16, so he also is a 17-8. What happens when a father and son have the same numbers? 17th of January 1971, 18th of March 2004. So basically you're telling me that their life path numbers are the same. So they've got the same lessons to learn, but they're going to go about it very differently because their names on their birth certificates are very different. This is kind of where, again, the program I'm teaching starting in, next week is going to develop into something quite unusual, quite different, because I'm going to be teaching about essences. And this is really going to be interesting because you're a case in point here, Tina, where you've got 2 people in the house that have the same life path number, but their birth names are different, right? So not only does that create a new heart's desire number, which makes a different passion, but it also creates a different expression number But at the end of the day, how they go through their personal years is determined by their name on the birth certificate, right? So we're going to get into that in this program. So cool. It's something I look at when I look at people's numerology charts immediately because it's so important. Okay, MK defined. Let's see. 1, 9, 10, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's 1. It's 12, 13, 14, 15. Bang on. You got it. Good stuff. That was a challenging one for you to do, so that's good for you. 29, 11. 1, 9, 10, 17, 21, 3, 7, 10, 11. Nope, you're an 11. Straight up 11, Shan. So you're going to take 1974, add it together. 1 plus 9 equals 10, plus 7 is 17, plus 4 is 21, and 2 and 1 equal 3. Okay, your day of birth is the 16th, 1 and 6 equals 7, and January is a 1. So 1 plus 7 plus 3 equals 11. However, having said that, I want you to study both the 2911 and the straight up 11, and then you can decide which one you feel more like, because it's really not about me being right, and there's no way that any one of us on the planet can prove our theories, right? So, that gives you something to think about. Hey, Melissa Leach, I think I have read about 18.9. Is it possible to resonate with both 18.9 and 36.9? Of course, yeah, absolutely. Because there might be another 3 showing up somewhere in your chart as well. So, okay, I'm just going to do a couple more, guys, because I'm going to wrap it up. I've been on a half hour longer than I thought it was going to be, but thanks for hanging in there with me. It was fun. 1 and 9 is 10, 19, 24, 6, 15, 20. No, you're a 20/2, in my opinion, Exlaney, 69X. I think that's, but I want you to study both, okay? I want you to, there's a video that I have created on my YouTube channel saying what's the difference between being a 20/2 and an 11/2. Go and watch that one, and then you can decide which one you are. 11/2 here, and send all of the appreciation and gratitude. Been watching you for almost 2 years. Awesome. Thanks, Kating. I appreciate that. You're welcome, my Lou. Yeah, isn't that awesome, David? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I kind of hang out with the best. So, okay. 1 is 10, 16. That's a 7. 6 is 12, 13, 20. My opinion, Kathy Corbin, is that you're a 20/2. But again, go read about the 2911 or go watch my video and see what works best for you. 1 is 19, that's 1, 10, 19, 1. Sodfan Harry, I believe that you're a 19/1. That holds the karmic debt. Go and check that out. Not going to talk about expression numbers tonight, Exlaney, but maybe I will on another time, because this is just about life path numbers tonight. Ugh, you guys go. I'm not putting these guys in timeouts, I'm just making them go away. All right. Okay, good, Tara, I'm glad. Gemma Shia, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. You need to go and study the chart. That if you watch this video again, you'll be able to pause it on the chart numbers, and it'll tell you exactly what the 23/5 means. You're working with the numbers related to the 2, the 3, and the 5. How are some viewers' names hidden? Because I'm hiding them because they're not posting nice stuff. So they're coming in with some porn and stuff, which I don't allow. So that's why they're blocked. My Priya, you're saying my name in my birth certificate is spelt wrong. Does it matter? No, go with it. It's spelt wrong. It's intentionally. Okay. Your mother or your father, whatever, might have intended it to be spelled a certain way. The way it's spelled on this published birth certificate is what you should go with. Okay. All right. So. Just going to quickly, there's randomly going to pick through a couple here before I let you go. I got 2 more minutes. I'm going to sign off here. So, Sun is 1984, 1 is 10, 18, 22, and 4 is 26, and 8 is 34, isn't it? Sorry, I'm tired. Sorry. 1984. August 31st, 4, 8, 1, 9 is 10, 18, 22, 34 is, this is a 34/7 is the life path number. Yes, the 22 stays as a 22, you're correct, 1984. That's it. All right. You're welcome, Kathy. Welcome, Jennifer. I'm so glad that I saw you guys all here tonight. This is awesome. I'm going to wrap this up a little bit. But I do want to invite you to check out, as I said, check out the community. There it is. If you want to learn numerology, I'm going to start teaching on Tuesday night and Tuesday afternoon next week. So it'll be noon Tuesday next week and 7 p.m. Tuesday next week. That is August the 9th, right? So that's when it starts. You got to join the Clarity Seekers community to get in. But you get 4 hours of numerology classes, live numerology classes for $22 a month, right? So it's a heck of a lot better than taking my courses that were $397. So we're doing it in a group, but we will be doing it on Zoom. So it won't be typing in things. We will actually be talking to each other and getting through the material. So I'm super pumped about that. There's a bunch of bonuses for you to get now if you're signing up. There's also 40 plus master classes in there already that you can check out as well. So, and you get to attend a live event as well with my my guest speakers. And sometimes we're doing them in September. August we're doing light language, learning all about light language, which is just so out there. But in September we have 2 master classes with Annette Dalou from InfiniteSoulLove.com. She's amazing. She's an Akashic record reader, transformation coach, and she's going to be teaching us about how to write kick-ass affirmations that work. And then the next one, also in September, so we got 2 master classes in September, we're going to be talking about how to place them in your crystal grid. So we're going to be teaching you all about the crystals and how to work with them. So much cool stuff come up, guys, I can't even tell you. So I hope that you'll consider joining us. So that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for your patience. I so appreciate you showing up tonight after we crashed and burned last night. I'm hoping that this little bit of extra time made up for it. And if you aren't already following me on YouTube or on Facebook or any of those places, check me out. Go and sign up for my newsletter so you find out what's going on. You can get a free video that's not on YouTube on my website. It's called 3 Things Your Birth Date Can Reveal About You. That's not available on YouTube. You got to go get it off my website so you can check it out. So much love, so much appreciation for you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me do what I love and loving what I do, right? Because there just ain't nothing better than that. So I hope that you've had a good time tonight and that you will be creating your best day ever. Take care. Bye for now.